I think it is. Welcome back. This is like the third live stream of the day, which is very uncommon for me. We started this morning in Spanish, did our regular show at 10 a.m., and then we are about to join Kelly Cutrara on AM 640 Toronto, talking to their audience about traffic safety, traffic law, and stuff and things in general. So it's the thing we do every couple of weeks. We join the show, and it's always a good time, and I no doubt this will be a good time too. So hang with us for a few moments, and we will get going once they're back from commercial break. It's very exciting. It's always exciting. If you've got questions, we might be able to answer them. Ask them in the comments, and we will bring them up in the event that Kelly says, hey, what are people on TikTok and YouTube and whatnot chatting about? See? Got my napkin done. No lunch on my face? All right. Hola, Chase. Good to see you again. Chase is still in Spanish mode. Someone suggested I do a Duolingo course, I think is what the suggestion was. Maybe we get to the point where I don't need an interpreter anymore and I can just do it myself, but I think that's going to be a while. So in the meantime, let's rely on the professionals who speak the language. But it is fun. It's great. We're going to do that on a regular basis because we want to have every community in Toronto and Ontario be able to access information where they may not have access easily in their language right now. So that's a thing. Oh, by the way, Chase, how did your interview go? Let me know. I want to know. Need to know these things. Hey, Tracy, long time no see. She says, well, hello again. Yep. I believe we're in a commercial break, probably 2 minutes until we're on the air in Toronto. If you want to join, you can call. Now, do I know the call number? No. And did I make it like a mental note to add the call-in number onto the graphic? Yeah. And did that help me? No, because I still forgot. Chase says I shouldn't be learning Spanish first. I should be learning French first. But they got people who.
Hi, Sean. How's it going?
Good. How's it going with you?
I'm doing all right, thanks. You got me loud and clear. I got you loud and clear. We just hit a break here, so we'll be up in about 4 minutes-ish.
4 minutes.
But I'll give you a minute heads up, okay?
Cool. And what's the call-in number so everyone watching can know what it is?
416-870-6400.
6400. Do you do texting as well, or is it just
Yeah,
phone?
that's a texting number as well.
Oh, same for both. Okay, cool.
Yeah, same for both.
Awesome.
Thank you very much. Talk to you in a minute.
Sounds good. Okay. We came in when they were speaking, and now they're on a break. We couldn't actually talk to them while they were speaking. So it was a break, or it was somebody else talking. Now it's a break, and then it's us. Yeah. It's funny. I'm already. I plan my days around my radio visits. I know what's coming, so it's pretty cool. Thin White Line Interceptor is back on Instagram. Ryan, hello to you. Oh, I can press the wave button. What was I talking? I was talking about something earlier, and it was about. It turned into a conversation about Prince William. I think that's who we were talking about. I didn't bring up the name; they did. But it's about wearing a fitness computer and wearing a watch. So I've been wearing Apple Watches forever, but I've had my nice watch at home, and now I want to wear my nice watch, but I don't want to give up all the benefits of the fitness computer because I'm in the gym now. So I'm wearing both. I'm wearing two watches at the same time, and I'm not 100% comfortable with it, but I'm working on it. But apparently royalty can do it, so why can't I? Okay. A good message came in on my computer, my wrist computer. I'm no longer calling the Apple Watch a watch. It's now being referenced as a computer because it's not a timepiece, I'm told. By the watch community, it's not a timepiece. I think it's that whole horology thing. Doesn't count. Let me know your thoughts. I'm curious. Kenny wants to know, can I get 30% window tint on my driver's side and passenger window? So 30% blockage is the maximum for certification. However, you may find yourself getting tickets for obscuring the interior of your motor vehicle by police because it's still, they're in conflict. One says it's safe during certain conditions, and the other one says you can't obscure the interior. So you have two laws that aren't in absolute alignment. So you can still be charged for obscuring the interior of your motor vehicle. If we can't see, we can't identify you, we can't see if you're wearing a seatbelt, if you're using your phone. These are all problems. And where I guess the best way is atmospheric conditions. If it's daytime and it's sunny, it's probably no problem. If it's nighttime and we can't see in, it's a problem. So you may have a car you can only drive in the day. Belladonna says, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you too. If you get pulled over and you don't have your driver's license, what's the protocol? Like you forgot your driver's license at home? Well, you are eligible for a ticket of $110 because you're obligated by law to surrender your license upon demand of a police officer. But that's up to the officer's discretion. I mean, if you provide all you're obligated to identify yourself regardless. If you refuse to identify, it's a different problem. But your mileage may vary. You may have an officer who gives you a ticket. You may have an officer who says, "Let me look it up for you," and here's a warning. Kamim says, God bless.
Just over a minute, Sean.
Awesome. Thanks for the update. We've got Caden who says, can a police officer give you a ticket if you were speeding but didn't pull you over? So as long as I can identify the driver. So let's say I pull up beside you and I identify you as the driver. I see your face. I run your license plate. My checks reveal that the person I see in the seat is in fact the driver and the registered owner. I've got enough identification. I can come to your house later and charge you. So yeah. Can we apply to the Toronto Police from another province? You can. You need to be a Canadian or permanent resident, but you don't have to be a resident of Ontario when you apply. How will the stunt driving law affect snowmobiles, ATVs if they're driving aggressively on trails? I don't know. I'm not involved with the off-road stuff, so I really don't know how it applies. Let's see here. All right. Seconds away from the Kelly Cutrara Show and talking about stuff and things with her and our entire audience. It's good times. And Chase finally saw Joseph's breaking into the PM office video on YouTube. Awesome. Also,
12:34, Thursday, September the 14th, and it's time to resume our bi-weekly date with Sean Shapiro, Constable. Sean Shapiro, TikTok traffic cop. Welcome back, Sean. Always great to have you on.
It's great to be back. How are things?
And things are great. And in the meantime, we're on your TikTok challenge or channel right now, aren't we?
You are everywhere.
Well, hi, everybody. Good to be here. All right. Let's talk about the road rage situations as of late. Is it just me, or are we looking at more road rage recently than is normal?
I don't know what normal is when we come to road rage. Definitely, we've got some people that are having difficulty managing their feelings, and that's spilling into violent action. It's not acceptable behavior, and criminal charges could be laid as a result of this kind of stuff. But we are seeing, in general, I think more of it as people become more outspoken and willing to go fisticuff for silliness.
Yeah, when you say fisticuff, you're probably referring to the shocking video that shows two guys get into a road rage incident on Highway 401. There's 3 lanes of traffic that are stopped as these guys are out of their vehicles rolling around on the ground. Talk about losing it.
Listen, you can have a consensual fight with somebody. You don't do it on the highway. This is absolute ludicrous behavior. And I can't even come up with a story that would justify such a thing. If you have a problem with somebody, maybe a gesture is the maximum you should and end it there. This was just silly.
Like a little hello gesture?
Something like that. But this takes it to the next level. You put people at risk. This is not behavior that we accept in our society.
No. There is another terrible story yesterday. We saw the video of someone's dash cam. I think they caught this. A motorcyclist hit a biker. It looks to be on purpose. They rode through a Toronto bike lane after basically the biker said that they had a little altercation because they were coming home from riding home from a dinner with a friend at 11:45 at night. They were heading northbound on River Street. Said the suspect came out of the driver on their motorcycle just south of Dundas, basically without stopping, and almost hit him. So he, gestured to the guy. And with displeasure, so maybe a different gesture than I was actually talking about. And this guy then followed him waited and followed him and nailed him,
Yeah,
with his bike.
It is a very disturbing video. It does go to show that sometimes it's just not worth engaging because you can't presume that the other person is rational. Somebody's you don't know what they're capable of, what they're willing to do for something as silly as an oopsie-doo on the road. What this particular motorcycle rider did was not an oopsie-doo; it was intentional contact. It's at very least a failed to remain collision, but it may be assault with a weapon. There's all sorts of options available to the investigating officers. But they made a conscious decision to take a motor vehicle, go into the protected bicycle lane, and strike and make contact to a cyclist that has now sustained severe injuries as a result of that impact.
How advantageous is it to laying charges when you see video?
Oh, video is a great help. Now, in this particular situation, the motorcycle did not have license plates, which also suggests, it may not be an insured vehicle or a licensed rider. There's a whole bunch of questions that come to mind when you see a vehicle without a license plate, and the whys as to why they would do that. But at the end of the day, that video is huge in terms of protecting and supporting the allegations of the rider, who is, of course, the victim in this situation. We would hope that anyone who has information, video, photo, or any kind of evidence or information that would help us identify that vehicle and its rider would please contact the Toronto Police. And they can do that by going to or calling 416-808-1900 to talk to our investigators. We think it's a silver and black scooter-style motorcycle, and that the rider was wearing a yellow or green helmet that's modular with a flip-up face. So that's a really important thing, that if anyone has information, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, and you want to get someone like this off the road. They're loose cannons, clearly. It's a really disturbing video. Can we talk about something that's kind of cute? It was back to school time. We had John to talk about it, and I think this happened in Etobicoke, but it happened about a week ago, so everything's blending together for me. But a police officer, no, I know where it was. It was in Burlington. A police officer pulled over someone for speeding, and there was a kid in the car seat in the back who said, "My dad speeds all the time." How often do you run across things like that out of the mouths of babes?
Well, you know what? It's amazing how observant children are, and how honest they are, and I appreciate them. I'm sure that there was no dessert that night for the kiddo. But I think that drivers don't pay attention or don't acknowledge the fact that your children are paying attention and they're learning from your behavior. If you are teaching them to speed, use your cell phone, and do other dangerous things, you are telling them it's okay behavior. You're training them at a very young age, and they will do everything you do. And when they get into a collision or get into have an injury or get a ticket, it's going to be because you taught them to.
Speaking of okay behavior, it's always okay to call into the Kelly Cutrara Show, 1-888-225-TALK. You can also text us at 416-870-6400. That number also works as a phone number, 416-870-6400. If you have any questions for Constable Sean Shapiro, the TikTok traffic cop, we'll take him. So get dialing. But in the meantime, you also talked about kids are always learning. These London driving instructors, one of them was on the show with us yesterday. He was a great guy. And he was saying, look, we've got a problem with our G license tests. In COVID times, to clear the backlog, they got rid of parallel parking. They got rid of the 3-point turn. They got rid of the road stop, like emergency roadside stop.
Mm-hmm.
So he's saying it's just too easy to pass. And we have unqualified drivers that would ultimately fail if that was brought back in. How problematic is this, in your opinion? Because you see drivers every day, all the time, that don't seem to be familiar with how to drive their car.
We have people that don't understand what a stop light or a stop sign mean. We have big problems out there on the road, and I don't disagree with that instructor. We can do better, and we should be more strict, and that is something that the rest of the world seems to get, or at least in Europe, seems to really understand. They have very strict licensing protocols, to the point where Canadians go there and can't get licensed without lots of training. And we need to up the requirements here, or at very least up the standard. The other thing that we need to do is have more enforcement, because we have people who are out there making the roads unsafe. It's not rocket science, but it does involve a commitment and some checks and balances. So it's not something that is easy that we can fix overnight, but it is something we should strive to do better with.
All right. We're going to leave you in for 2 seconds. We'll be right back. A little more than 2 seconds, but we'll be right back as we get some calls lined up for you and some texts. TikTok traffic cop Sean Shapiro is with us on the Kelly Cutrara Show.
Okay. We're going to be in radio silence for a few, but that means I can talk to you. And I see someone who wants me to say their name, but I'm a little what? I'm not even going to try, my friend. But I would also ask that you don't spam the chat because I will block you. Not because I don't like you, just because you don't want to take over. Let's see. Frank was talking about speeding. We got. If I see a lot of videos of people making videos from their driver's seat, yeah, you can report them if you can identify where they are. Let's see here. We'll mute them for 5 minutes. Okay. In the event, they're not blocked, by the way. They're just muted for 5 minutes. And they can start harassing again if they come back. But hopefully they got the message. Okay. What did we just say? Yeah, you can report it to your local police if we can identify who the driver is. If we can identify where they were, what time it happened. It is easy to put that together and lay charges. I saw you on CP24 yesterday. I was on CP24 and I was on Global, and yeah, we were talking about that motorcycle incident where it looks like a scooter, but it was very much a gas-powered motor vehicle under the Highway Traffic Act, and they hit a cyclist and injured that person and then ran away. Just totally unacceptable behavior. Like the whole bit of it. This is very rarely do I accept the terminology road violence. Collisions aren't, in my opinion, road violence, but some groups say it is. This was, in fact, road violence. Someone was choosing to be violent. Let's see here. How do officers choose a fine for speeding? It's actually a calculation based on speed. So speeding happens at any speed over the speed limit. 1 kilometer over is speeding, and you can be charged for it. Excuse me. The actual fine dollar amount value is a sliding scale. And I can tell you what that scale looks like. It's actually a calculation in different levels. Like it goes up and changes as you go, but it's per kilometer. Where is it? Here we go. So I've got I use an app. There's a chart that we can use. So 5 kilometers over is no demerit points, $12.50. Plus victim fine surcharge comes to $27.50. If it's in a school zone, it's $40. Let's say we go to 15 over. $52.50 or $95 in a school zone. If we go to 16 over, it goes to $55.105. We go to 20 over, and it's just $95.180. Like if you go to 49 over, it's $359 or $718 in a school zone. I don't know why anyone has to go that fast. I don't know why anyone has to speed at all. I don't speed. I know people say, "Come on, that's baloney." No, I actually don't speed. Excuse me as I cough. Steven says, welcome back. Chase wants to know if we use radar detectors. I am a radar detector. There's
just over a minute, Sean.
Thank you very much. There is the technology to do that. Have I ever used it? No. Do I need to use it? No. We use observations. If we hit the button on our machine and you're 500 yards away or whatever, and you hit the brakes, we might have caused you to do that. Yeah. And then we pull you over and do a level inspection of your vehicle. Because we have search and seizure authority for radar detectors. A question. What are your thoughts on alleviating driver frustration by enforcing things like not blocking intersections, drivers not leaving the fast and passing lane? So 2 things. 1, block the box is a big problem, and we do enforcement on that. And it's a matter of how many officers we have available, because we have things that are higher priority than that. But I do agree that those need to be addressed, and with more officers, we'll do more of that. When you talk about fast lane and passing, I hope you recognize that fast lane and passing does not allow you to go over the speed limit. So the fastest fast lane driver can be 100 kilometers an hour on a 100 kilometer an hour road. So if you're camping out there, you're legal. You should be there. No one should go faster. And I know people don't like that answer, but that's the law. If you're passing, you're speeding, and you're eligible for tickets.
1246, you're listening to the Kelly Cutrara Show. Thanks so much for being here. If you're listening in London at 980 CFPL and Hamilton at 900 CHML, the phone line 1-888-225-TALK. In the Toronto area, GTA, 416-870-6400. That's the number. You can also text at 416-870-6400 to talk to Sean Shapiro, our TikTok traffic cop, and our biweekly guest on Thursdays. Sean, we're going to go right back to the phones here, right to the phones with Kenny in downtown. Kenny, how you doing? Can you see through the hood or?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I'm not driving anymore.
Perfect.
Oh, good.
Question is, if vehicles in Canada should be traveling in the excess of 100 kilometers an hour, how come manufacturers are allowed to sell vehicles that can travel excessive 300 kilometers an hour? If like pit bulls are banned and automatic weapons are banned, how does that make any sense?
All right. So we're bringing in the pit bulls to the car conversation. What do you think?
There's no limits to how many potato chips you can eat. There's no there's choice involved, and the vehicle manufacturers make a vehicle that is capable of going faster in other areas, like racetracks are permissible areas. I get it. I'd love to see geo-fenced technology that limits a vehicle to not be capable of going faster than the posted speed limit. But the reality is that's not where we are. And I think with the advent or the introduction of automated vehicles, truly autonomous vehicles, we're going to see a lot safer roads because people will be going slower by virtue of the fact that they won't be making the poor decision to speed. But I don't disagree with you, but I understand that freedom of choice is there. And a lot of these vehicles are manufactured and sold, even though they never get to go to the speed that they're designed for, but they're race cars, and they really are too fast for the road. So maybe we need to get a course and a key to unlock those speeds.
All right, let's go to Owen and Barry. Welcome to the Kelly Cutrara Show.
Yeah, hey, Kelly. My question would be, why doesn't the police try to encourage a little bit more consideration among drivers? I mean, there's a lot of people that drive a little slower in the left lane and will drive parallel to another slower vehicle. And that's what really incenses people. I mean, if it's all about road rage and trying to eliminate a lot of that road rage, wouldn't educating the people a little bit more so be a positive thing? Get out of the left lane, move over to the right, allow the faster driver to go through. If they're speeding, then they're subject to getting caught. But at least, you're not holding anyone up and potentially causing a rear ender.
Well, I agree, and we actually do that. I'm live on social media Monday to Friday for at least an hour doing the Ask a Traffic Cop thing, and then I join radio shows like this one to spread that word and talk about laws and what the right thing to do is. I will say that no one should be going over the posted limit, and it's not enough just to say, they're subject to getting caught. They're increasing the risk to all other people on the roads, and they're running the risk of causing collisions and injury and death. So, yet you're
going to get pushed back from me, though, Sean.
Of course,
I have to say this
it.
because the reality is it's a passing lane. If somebody's going 100, it is too slow. We've got to think about upping the speed on highways. I believe that they were built well to take the speed. I think if you're going to pass, you're going to have to go more than 100 to get past this person, and then you can go in front of them. What's wrong with that? At some point, you're going to have to speed a little.
Well, nobody should be passing anyone doing 100 because that's the maximum speed.
But it happens all the time.
Oh, no, I get it. And we do tell people to stay to the right.
And we have to be rooted in the real world.
Well, I don't speed, so I live there at the speed limit. I get to everywhere I'm going, and the people who pass me as we get on the highway get off the highway in the same place. There's no actual benefit to speeding unless you're talking sustained speeds over a long period of time. It just doesn't work. There's studies to prove that. The end of the day, we would like to see everybody complying with the law. But if you're going to drive below the speed limit, or even in this case, the speed limit, stay to the right if you're not actively passing. In Europe, you get a ticket if you're not actively passing in the passing lane. Yeah.
Interesting. Although our roads, we've got so many cars on the road, if you were to ignore that left lane and it was just empty, it would be ridiculous. It just wouldn't happen. People wouldn't do it. But I appreciate the call, Owen. Thanks so much. 416-870-6400, 1-888-225-TALK. Put those in your phone so you have them on speed dial. There's just something about road rage. Somebody wrote in, Sean, it's not really a question, but it says road rage. One of the biggest reasons for road rage, I feel, is financial stress. I'm not proud of this, but I actually exited my vehicle to confront someone, and my full intent was to beat them up. At the time, I was under severe financial strain. Today, things are financially much better for me, and I would never dream of doing it now. They didn't leave their name, but I appreciate the text, and it is scary. So maybe that is accounting for it. It's not an excuse, but there's a lot of people under severe financial stress. So I think what we have to realize is we need to have strategies to get rid of the stress so that when a stressful situation happens to us on the roads, you don't take it personally. I actually think, when we were talking about gesturing, it might be the wrong thing to do because it actually doesn't blow off steam and it can escalate things. There's got to be another thing that you can do so you can put things in perspective and calm yourself.
Coping strategies are a huge thing. You can only manage yourself, and you're right. Gestures are better than physical violence, but not as good as relaxing music, giving yourself extra time to get to where you're going. I won't say light a candle in your car, but doing things to deal with what's going on in your own life. You have to take care of yourself, and that is going to do far better for you than doing anything to act out. But we can't. A crisis. Everyone's in our own little level of crisis. What's going on the night before, the day of, your dog died, anything can contribute. And someone being inconsiderate on the road could be the straw that breaks the camel's back. And we should be kinder to each other. We don't know what anyone else is going through. Gary Vaynerchuk, who is a marketing guy and a media guy, said something really interesting. He says, when someone comes out to give you a hard time on the internet, and I'll adapt it to driving, feel bad for them. They're having a bad day, as opposed to get angry and take it personal.
All right, let's move over to Pete in Georgetown.
Hey, how you doing?
Great, thanks, Pete. So what's your question?
Well, it was about a year or so back, or a couple of years. I was in a parking lot in Georgetown here, and somebody was backing up. I was out in the middle, and somebody was back up in the side of my car. So I laid on the horn, and then I gave him like what's up with both hands.
You gave him the bird.
No, I did not, actually.
Oh, okay.
I did just give him the, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
Type of thing. But anyway, there's a police officer in the parking lot. He heard the horn, and he saw an arm movement, and he pulled me over, and he said that I gave him the finger. I said, no, I didn't actually. I just laid on the horn. He was going to hit my car, and I said, hey, what's up with that hand up? And I didn't give him the finger. And he told me that if I gave him the finger, that technically that's assault. Is that true?
There's assaultive behavior. If you were raising your clenched fists while standing in front of someone in a aggressive manner, that is assault. The finger, you might be assaulting their feelings, but it's not assault, in my opinion. And you know what? That officer obviously has a different interpretation of the law than I do.
Yeah, but you can't. If the law's the law, you just can't make it up. Hey, Mike in Woodbridge.
Good afternoon, Alan Cross. How are you?
Okay, this is something that people don't know. Alan Cross from the Ongoing History of New Music, our sister station, 102.1 The Edge. Mike is convinced that Sean Shapiro and Alan Cross are the same people. I know Alan, and I've seen Sean. We've never been in person together. I don't think we have. And they're not the same person.
It's a pokeroo situation.
Room.
Yeah, that's right.
About 4 weeks ago, I was early morning going to Home Depot to get some stuff ready for work. Parking lot was pretty empty. It was one of these smart center plazas. And I blew through one, maybe two stop signs in the parking lot. And a gentleman from Peel pulled me over and advised me that I just blew on two stop signs. And I very respectfully advised him that parking lots aren't covered under Highway Traffic Act and that have a good day. He really wasn't happy with me, but he did turn away and go back to his car and leave me alone. But I just wanted to know, do you guys not cover that at Almer or not, or what?
I will say that traffic is a specialty, and not everybody is interested in it. There is, the potential of laying charges of dangerous driving on private property, which would be criminal and a little bit over the realm of what would be required in that situation. But it's good for him for talking to you about it because he obviously saw it was an issue.
Do you think he was checking to see if he was drunk?
Very possibly.
Yeah, because Mike, if it's two stop signs, that's not just, oh, I missed that. Sorry, sir. It's like two, it's a pattern here. And it's like, we got to make sure this person hasn't been drinking this morning. But I appreciate the call. So, Alan, it's been great. No, I'm kidding, Sean. Sean, it's been great spending time with you, as always. And you'll be back again 2 Thursdays from now.
I look forward to it. Have a good one.
Very quickly, there's one question here I got to get to. You're able to have strips of tint on the top and bottom of your windshield. How much?
You're not allowed to have any tint on your windshield, save and except for vehicles manufactured before 2017. So if you have a 2016 or older vintage vehicle, you can have a 3-inch tint strip across the top, from the top of the windshield down to 3 inches or to the PS1 line, whatever happens first. Only the top and only for those older vehicles. New vehicles, no tint at all. It makes your vehicle unsafe. You can have your license plate seized.
All right, good to know. All right, the Minister of Education, Stephen Lecce, calling on Peel District School Boards to stop ditching library books.
And we'll say goodbye there. It is always a pleasure to jump in and say hello on the Kelly Cutrara Show. So for anyone who's been watching, we do this every other week with Kelly. We do it on different days on a different station. We do this on our platforms, which you're watching on right now, Monday to Friday from 10 to 11, unless we're joining in special events like this one. And we're talking about doing later in the day events. Like, would you like to see afternoon shows instead of AM shows once in a while? I would like to do that for you. If that's something you're interested in, let us know. And in fact, you can go to trafficcop.ca and hit the link for send me a message. Send me a message. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you think that we should do things differently, and we might just do it. It's all about the show, and everything we do is all about you. I know it sounds wild, but what we do is we're here to educate, to inform, to take some of the mystery away from the Highway Traffic Act that is sometimes requiring some demystification. Anyway, it has been a pleasure. I am going to have some lunch, and then I am going to call some people that have been waiting to talk to me, because this has been a busy day. But you have a good one. Yeah, have a good one. Drive sober, drive safe, park legally, and smile, because it's important. Smile, you feel better. Apparently, there's studies that support that.